Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
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 Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpataruvyaschа Kripa Sindhuvya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
We welcome all of you to our online weekly, Krishna book classes. We have with us here Shailesh Latkar, Auntie Neeta, Karuna, Shreya Kalaria, Joli Nandwani, Vivansh, Sheetal Latkar, Ritu Lalwani, Shantaram Latkar, Kamala Nandini Mataji is there. Then we have Meenakshi, Dipti Adnani, N.C. Venkatchari, Divina. My husband is there. Then we have Wendy, Shivani, Lavina Dadlani, Priyanka Jha, Hari, and Shri Radhe Hari Devi Dasi. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class? We are on chapter number
47.
47. Yes. What is the scene? Where where is the geographical location where this chapter is happening, unfolding?
Vrindavan.
In Sri Vrindavan Dham, yes, very nice. And we saw how Uddhava has traveled to Vrindavan with Krishna's message for the Gopis, no?
Gopis.
And the previous chapter, especially, we revisited the yoga ladder, and we saw how there is no equal to the Gopis when it comes to bhakti. And we saw how there are many yoga systems. Krishna explains the different yoga systems to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. He explains karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga. And then at the end, not at the end, but several times in the Bhagavad Gita, and especially at the end, Krishna focuses and he tells that if you want to come to me, if you want to know me, then bhakti is the only way. Now, one may be following karma yoga or jnana yoga or dhyana yoga, but ultimately one has to come to the point of bhakti. Now, there are different yoga ladders. You have the progressive yoga ladder where you start from at the lowest rung of the progressive yoga ladder. You have animalistic life, sinful activities. Then above that you have karma kanda, um, doing activities expecting something in return, karma kanda. But that is within the framework of shastra, so it is not sinful. Above that, then there is karma yoga. Karma yoga is divided into two: sakama karma yoga and nishkama karma yoga. Sakama karma yoga, I am doing something, again, I want something in return, but there is some element of bhakti added to it, no? Because karma kanda, there is no what called karma kanda yoga. Karma kanda means there is no desire to link to the supreme. The word yoga means to link to the supreme. So in karma yoga, there is some desire to link to the supreme. But again, largely, we are expecting something in return. We want something in return from the Lord. That is sakama karma yoga. Then above that is nishkama karma yoga. There is no karma, there is no desire, but I am attached to serving the Lord in a particular way. That is nishkama karma yoga. Then above that we have the jnana yoga, where the yogis are, where the seeker is intensely studying the Upanishads, no, intensely studying the Shastra, there is more detachment. As we go higher in the yoga ladder, detachment is increasing. So the yogi is detached, and he is seeking to um, realize the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. Again, absolute truth is realized in three features: Brahman effulgence, which is a light coming from Krishna's body; then Paramatma realization, realizing the super soul in the heart; and third is Bhagavan realization, realizing the Lord as a person. No, so the Jnana yogis, they seek to realize the what do you call it? Brahman feature of the Lord. Then come the Dhyana yogis. They practice silent meditation, and the goal is to realize the Paramatma. So as they are engaging in the Dhyana yoga process, they help to elevate, they try to elevate their consciousness from the lower chakras to the higher chakras in the body. That is Dhyana yoga. And then Bhakti yoga is I only do what Krishna likes. No? So Bhakti yoga, we discussed how there are 9 processes: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atman Vedanam. But out of this, the first 2 are most important: hearing and chanting, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So Bhakti Yoga begins by Shravanam and Kirtanam. So when we chant the holy name, then immediately we are hearing and we are chanting. We are doing Shravanam and Kirtanam automatically together. So Bhakti Yoga begins by a very simple process: Shravanam and Kirtanam, chanting the holy name. So one can go through this progressive yoga ladder, all these yoga systems, because it's a natural progression. No? As we do karma yoga, then there is more detachment. Then we want to study the shastras. And after we study the shastras, and let's say a person uh, achieves the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. But what happens in Brahman effulgence? The living entity, the soul, only exists in the light. There is no activity, there is no opportunity to interact or render active service. So the living entity gets a lot of peace in the Brahman effulgence, but then at some point the living entity gets bored, so he falls down, and now he wants to seek a higher realization. So next higher realization after the Brahman realization is the Paramatma realization. So in the Paramatma realization, if he achieves success, he can perceive, he can see the Paramatma. An ordinary living entity cannot see the Paramatma because one is not at that uh, transcendental level. But a dhyana yogi, when he gains success, then he can see the Paramatma. But that Paramatma is appears for some time and then vanishes. No, so this yogi now, he is hankering. I want to see that form again, that most beautiful form, that most attractive form. I want to see that person. Who is that personality? I want to see him again, and I want to render service to him. So now that takes him to the next stage of realization, which is the Bhagavan realization, that yes, God is a person, we can interact with him, we can serve him, and the Lord also reciprocates to our love. So that is Bhakti Yoga. So it's not necessary that one has to go through the progressive ladder, because it is going to take us millions of lifetimes to perfect it. Millions of lifetimes. But there is one express elevator. What is that express elevator? Immediately associate with devotees. Devotee association, and under the guidance of devotee association, we follow the four regular principles and we chant our rounds. Uh, um we chant the holy name, and immediately we are starting off our process in Bhakti Yoga. Now um, you can be anyone, no man, woman, rich, poor, Indian, American. You may be 20 years old, you may be 80 years old, whoever you may be, doesn't matter. Any stage of life, you start off the Bhakti Yoga process. Every day, if you chant minimum of 16 rounds and follow the four regulative principles under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, you can go back home, back to Godhead at the end of this lifetime itself. At the end of this lifetime itself. So we have crossed millions of lifetimes. We may not remember it, but we know from Shastras that we have crossed millions of lifetimes before we have got this human body. And we don't know how many human bodies also we have had. But obviously, we didn't surrender to Krishna. That's the reason why we are here. No, we may have surrendered, we may have started off the process, but we have not finished up the process. That's the reason why we are here. So, therefore, if we can perfect our lifetime, then you can go back home, back to Godhead at the end of this life itself. So just think about it, no, millions of lifetimes, and the next few years that are left in this body for me before I can meet death. If I can give that to Krishna, then that would be a most intelligent decision. No, at this stage, all of us here, we have almost reached the goal. You may have seen photos of somebody who's digging for jewels, and when he's right at the door, right at the exit door, or right at the success door, he feels that, oh no, I'm not getting anywhere, and he gives up and he goes back. So we are all right very close to the exit door, to exit from the material world. No, we are very, very close to that exit door. Let's not take a U-turn and give up and go back. No, let us just continue and attain success. That is intelligence. That is intelligence. Okay. Do we have any questions from the previous class? Let me share my screen. Can you all see?
Yeah, now we can see.
Okay. So this slide we already saw, right? I mean, we didn't go through it, but it's there in the previous recording of the yoga ladder. If you want, you can see that recording. But we will proceed after this in today's class. So continuing with Krishna book. Uddhava continued reading Krishna's message. Transcendental knowledge of the Absolute is no longer necessary for you. You were accustomed to loving me from the very beginning of your lives. Knowledge of the Absolute Truth is specifically required for persons who want liberation from material existence. But one who has attained love for Krishna is already on the platform of liberation. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone engaged in unalloyed devotional service is to be considered situated on the transcendental platform of liberation. The gopis did not actually feel any pangs of material existence, but they felt the separation of Krishna. Krishna therefore said, "My dear gopis, to increase your super excellent love for me, I have purposely separated myself from you, so that you may be in constant meditation on me." So again, Krishna is focusing how the gopis are on the spontaneous, on the level of having spontaneous love for Krishna. So that's what he's saying. A transcendental knowledge of the absolute is no longer necessary for you. You were accustomed to loving me from the very beginning of your life. So from the very beginning, the gopis know nothing but Krishna. So they are on the stage of spontaneous love. So we may not be at that stage, but as we perform sadhana bhakti, as we engage in chanting, hearing and chanting, shravanam and kirtanam, then slowly it removes the dust on the mirror of the heart. Now, when a mirror has accumulated dust, and we start to clean it, slowly, then we can clearly see our reflection in that mirror. So, in the same way, when we start chanting the holy name, it starts to remove the dust from the mirror of our heart. And slowly, day by day, more and more of the dust, more and more of the impurity is removed from our heart, and then we can come to the stage of unalloyed devotional service, as is written here. Unalloyed devotional service, which means pure bhakti. Bhakti is not mixed with karma or jnana or dhyana or any other process. It's only at the stage of pure bhakti. So the gopis are already in that stage. Let's continue. The gopis are in the perfectional stage of meditation. Yogis are generally more fond of meditating than of executing devotional service to the Lord, but they do not know that the perfection of the yoga system is the attainment of devotion. This constant meditation on Krishna by the gopis is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita to be the topmost yoga. Krishna knew very well the psychology of women. When a woman's beloved is away, she thinks of him more in meditation than when he is present before her. Krishna wanted to teach through the behavior of the gopis that one who is constantly in trance, like the gopis, surely attains his lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya taught people in general the method of Vipralamba Seva, which is the method of rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the feeling of separation. The six Goswamis also taught worship of Krishna in the feeling of the gopis in separation. The prayers composed by Srinivas Acharya about the Goswamis explain these matters very clearly. Srinivas Acharya said that the Goswamis were always absorbed in the ocean of transcendental feelings in the mood of the gopis. When they lived in Vrindavan, they were searching for Krishna, crying, "Where are you, O Krishna? Where are you, Krishna? O gopis, where are you? Where are you, Srimati Radharani?" They never said, "We have now seen Radha and Krishna, and therefore our mission is fulfilled." Their mission remained always unfulfilled. They never met Radha and Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. But he is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So mood of Srimati Radharani and mood of the gopis is always they are hankering for Krishna. No, so that's the mood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he also exhibited. Whenever he would see a mountain, he would say, "Oh, this is Govardhan." No, he would mistake the ocean for um, Yamuna. No? And like that, he was always hankering, searching for Krishna. That was the mood. That is Vipralamba Seva. Vipralamba Seva. Vipralamba means love in separation. No, in separation. Not there is more love in separation than there is in union. Krishna reminded the gopis that at the time of the rasa dance, those gopis who could not join him for the rasa dance gave up their bodies simply by thinking of him. Absorption in Krishna consciousness by feeling separation is thus the quickest method for attaining of the lotus feet of Krishna. By the personal statement of Krishna, the gopis were convinced about the strength of feelings of separation. They were actually experiencing the supernatural method of Krishna worship, and they were much relieved by understanding that Krishna was not away from them, but always with them. So now the gopis, they are feeling relieved, no, by understanding that Krishna was not away, but always with them. So this was why Krishna sent, one of the reasons why Krishna sent that letter was to pacify the gopis, and now they are feeling pacified. See, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes in his commentary, Krishna's first message, which gives instructions in philosophical knowledge, acts to reveal the unassailable strength of the Gopis' prema to the most intelligent scholars and to hide the greatness of their love from the dull minded. So, Krishna, see, when Uddhava started to read the message, we saw that Krishna was talking about his opulence, how he is present everywhere, how he is all pervading. And Krishna is actually talking about his opulence. And one may think that, oh, why is Krishna talking about his opulence to the gopis? No, the gopis are already at the stage of spontaneous love for Krishna. Why does Krishna want to talk about his opulence? Because in Vrindavan, Krishna is not interested in displaying his opulence, because in Vrindavan, his sweetness completely overpowers his opulence. So, why does Krishna do that? That is what we can understand by this commentary. To reveal the unassailable strength of the Gopis' prema to the most intelligent scholars, and to hide the greatness of their love from the dull minded. Which means, to the jnanis, Krishna wants to show that higher than jnana yoga is prema, is bhakti yoga, is love. Hmm. And on the other hand, he wants to hide the greatness of their love from the dull minded. So there are always going to be people who don't want to accept Krishna, who don't want to accept Shastras, who don't want to accept Acharyas. So they are referred to as dull minded, less intelligent. So for those less intelligent people, Krishna is not interested in giving them this knowledge. So he wants to hide the greatness of the gopis' love from the dull minded. Krishna said, through Uddhava, I am giving the gopis the nectar of knowledge, but it could not extinguish the fire of their love. So, Krishna here, he is giving knowledge, right, about his greatness, about his opulence in that letter. But no matter Krishna is giving them that knowledge, still it could not diminish the love that the gopis have for Krishna, the spontaneous love that the gopis have for Krishna. Or so rather, the love for Krishna completely overpowered the knowledge of Krishna's greatness or opulence. The gopis still are at the level of spontaneous love for Krishna. They are not being overwhelmed by hearing, oh, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is God. He is a supreme controller. He is present everywhere. No, their love is not being diminished by that. Rather, that knowledge got consumed by the heat of that fire. Just see the power of their love. The Gopis Prema has been proven the strongest because it has rendered useless the Jnana Yoga taught by me, the Lord of the mind and yoga. It is the same as the beginning of the Rasa dance, wherein Krishna's instructions on Karma Yoga reveal the strength of the Gopis Prema to the confidential devotees. At the same time, Krishna covered the true glories of their love from fools who presume themselves to be great scholars. Krishna cleverly made these so called scholars think. The Supreme Lord, the benefactor of all, has imparted transcendental knowledge to the gopis who possess the highest category of love for him to make it possible for them to attain liberation. See, in the rasa dance, when Krishna played the flute and the gopis were attracted to him and they went to Krishna, initially Krishna told them, no, it is your duty to go back. Krishna initially told them, you have to go back. You all are married women, you have children, you have duties, you have to fulfill your duties. So Krishna initially gave them the knowledge of the karma yoga. But despite that, the gopis' prema is so much, so pure that that love completely overshadowed even the karma yoga process that Krishna was talking about at that time. Because bhakti is the highest, remember, on the yoga ladder. So in the same way here, the gopis' prema has completely overshadowed the jnana that Krishna was giving in that letter. That's the point here. See, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu um, he was chanting the holy name. He would lead Harinam Sankirtan on the streets, and he was followed by thousands and thousands of followers. No, but there were other philosophers at that time who would criticize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they would say that he's a fanatic because only he's chanting whole day he's chanting the holy name, but he should actually engage in studying the shastras. They would criticize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that. Those scholars, philosophers of that time, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, "Yes, I'm a fool. I'm just following what my spiritual master has told me to do. I don't have any intelligence." No, like that. Because of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very humble. He's teaching by his own example what should be the behavior of a devotee. So this is what is being explained here. No, so one may be a great scholar, one may read a lot of shastras, one may be able to quote from the scriptures and have a lot of knowledge. But if one does not have bhakti in the heart, then there is no use of that jnana. Because unless there is no bhakti, then there is no way we can go back home, back to Godhead. Due to the extreme confidentiality of this subject, Krishna nourishes the wise devotees by bestowing upon them the nectar of prema, while cheating the non devotees by giving them intoxicating liquor. So, the non devotees here, when they see Krishna's letter, they are going to say, "Oh, Krishna is giving jnana." So, jnana is very, very important, and they think, these non devotees, they will think that Krishna wants to give this jnana to the gopis, which means jnana is higher than bhakti. This is for the non devotees. But the wise devotees, they will be able to realize and understand that actually here the Gopis' prema was not diminished, even though Krishna sent this jnana, this knowledge to the Gopis. No, so two same message, but if one is a devotee, one understands it differently. If one is a non-devotee, one understands it differently. Thus, this verse serves a dual purpose, like the Mohini incarnation, who behave differently in relation to the devotees and the demons. So, Mohini incarnation, when there was churning of the ocean, both sides wanted the nectar that came from the churning of the ocean. So, Mohini incarnation, Lord Vishnu took the form of Mohini, a very, very beautiful woman, and she convinced the demons that first we will give the nectar to the devotees. And the devotees knew that this is the Supreme Lord. So the same incarnation, the same personality, but behaving different with the demons and the devotees. So that's example is given here to explain this point. So here what I did was, and now this is again for your own personal study. We are not going to go through this in detail. See the verse, the said verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Uddhava is reading the message to the gopis of Krishna. So Krishna's message, right? That's why this verse begins with Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. What is it that Krishna has said in that message? What is the translation of that? You can also see the synonyms, word to word translation of this particular verse. So this is the translation of the verse. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains in the commentary, for the gopis, this verse meant something else. Okay, so this is the meaning of the verse as given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But for the gopis, the meaning is something else. So why? Because in Sanskrit, the same word can have different meanings also. So because the gopis are understanding this verse differently, we can see how their love is topmost for Krishna. Nothing can overshadow their love. So this is something that you can read for your own self-study when I share the slides in the group. So I've put all the verses here, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. 5 verses. You can read for your own self-study. Okay. The gopis therefore received Uddhava very happily and began to speak as follows. So now the gopis, they are feeling solace, no? And now the gopis are going to speak. We have heard that King Kamsa, who is always a source of trouble for the Yadu dynasty, has now been killed. This is good news for us. We hope, therefore, that the members of the Yadu dynasty are very happy in the association of Krishna, who can fulfill all the desires of his devotees. My dear Uddhava, kindly let us know whether Krishna sometimes thinks of us while in the midst of the highly enlightened society girls in Mathura. We know that the women and girls in Mathura are not village women. They are enlightened and beautiful. Their bashful, smiling glances and their feminine features must be very pleasing to Krishna. We know very well that Krishna is always fond of the behavior of beautiful women. It seems, therefore, that he has been entrapped by the women of Mathura. My dear Uddhava, will you kindly let us know if Krishna sometimes remembers us while in the midst of other women? Another gopi inquired, does he remember that night in the midst of Kumuda flowers and moonlight when Vrindavan became exceedingly beautiful? Krishna was dancing with us, and the atmosphere was surcharged with the sound of the footbells. We exchanged pleasing conversation then. Does he remember that particular night? We remember that night and we feel separation. Separation from Krishna makes us agitated, as if there were fire in our bodies. Does he propose to come back to Vrindavan to extinguish that fire, just as a cloud appears in the sky to extinguish a forest fire by its downpour? Another gopi said, Krishna has killed his enemy and he has victoriously achieved the kingdom of Kamsa. Maybe he is married with the king's daughter by this time and living happily among his kinsmen and friends. Therefore, why should he come to this village of Vrindavan? Another gopi said, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the husband of the goddess of fortune, and he is self sufficient. He has no business either with us, the girls in the Vrindavan forest, or with the city girls in Mathura. He is the great super soul. He has nothing to do with any of us, either here or there. Another gopi said, It is unreasonable. It is an unreasonable hope for us to expect Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. We should try instead to be happy in disappointment. Even Pingala, the great prostitute, said that disappointment is the greatest pleasure. We know these things, but it is very difficult for us to give up the expectation of Krishna's coming back. Who can forget a solitary conversation with Krishna on whose chest the goddess of fortune always remains in spite of Krishna's not desiring her? My dear Uddhava, Vrindavan is the land of rivers, forests, and cows. Here the vibration of the flute was heard, and Krishna, along with his elder brother, Sri Balaram, enjoyed the atmosphere in our company. Thus, the environment of Vrindavan constantly reminds us of Krishna and Balaram. On the land of Vrindavan are the impressions of his footprints, the residence of the goddess of fortune, and because of such signs, we cannot forget Krishna. The gopis further expressed that Vrindavan was still full of all opulence and good fortune. There was no scarcity or want in Vrindavan as far as material necessities were concerned. But in spite of such opulence, they could not forget Krishna and Balaram. We constantly remember various attractive features of beautiful Krishna, his walking, his smiling, his joking words. We have all become lost by the dealings of Krishna, and it is impossible for us to forget him. We always pray to him, exclaiming, Dear Lord, dear husband of the goddess of fortune, dear Lord of Vrindavan, and deliverer of the distressed devotees. We have all fallen and merged into an ocean of distress. Please, therefore, come back to Vrindavan and deliver us from this pitiable condition. Uddhava minutely studied the transcendental abnormal condition of the gopis in their separation from Krishna, and he thought it wise to repeat again and again all the pastimes they had enjoyed with him. Materialistic persons are always burning in a blazing fire of material miseries. The gopis were burning in a transcendental blazing fire due to separation from Krishna. The blazing fire, exasperating the gopis, however, is different from the fire of the material world. The gopis constantly wanted the association of Krishna, whereas materialistic persons constantly want the advantage of material comforts. So, this is the difference between a devotee and a non devotee. A person who's on the materialistic platform is always looking for material comforts. We want a better house, we want a more comfortable bed, we want a luxurious car. We want to make our stay in this material world more and more comfortable. Okay. But the point is, no matter how much our home um or our whatever amenities we have, no matter how comfortable they may be, still we are in the prison house. We have to always understand that this material world is like a prison house. If a prisoner is in the jail, right? And one day the chief minister of the state, comes to the jail and he tells the prisoners, okay, ask whatever you want. I will give you whatever you want. He's the chief minister. And if the prisoners say, oh, we want a better fan, the fan is not working, or better still, can you install an AC in the prison house? Can we have nice bathroom in the prison house? So he may provide all that. But what is the use? Because still he's in the jail. He's still in the jail. But if the prisoners ask the chief minister, oh, if you can give me whatever I want, then let me be free from this prison house. Now that is intelligence. No. So in the same way, we pray to Krishna to take us back home, back to Godhead. Or even rather higher than that, please give us love. No, we want to love Krishna. Actually, a devotee does not even want liberation. A devotee only wants to love Krishna. So that is at the highest platform. Mhm. So, what is the problem in the material world is that everybody here has to go through birth, death, disease, and old age, even though we don't like it. See, birth also a very painful process for every living entity. We have all gone through excruciating pain when we were in the wombs of our mothers because the child is in a small place. It's dark, and whenever the mother eats very spicy or pungent food, then the body of the child burns, no, because the skin is not completely formed. Then the body of the child burns very, very badly, and there are worms, and the child is in its own stool and urine, right? So it's a very, very abominable condition in which the child is in the womb of the mother. So birth is very painful. Then death also we have discussed now how death for a non-devotee is very, very painful. How the Yamadutas, they are very fierce looking people, and how they pull the soul out of the body with ropes. And there is a very graphic example, a very graphic description in the Garud Puran of how the soul, sinful soul, is taken to the abode of Yamaraj, and then he has to wait his judgment. Then disease. Nobody likes to have a disease, but disease is forced upon us. Nobody likes to grow old, but old age is forced upon us. So as long as we are in the prison house, as long as we're in the material world, we have to go through birth, death, disease, and old age. And then again, there are three sufferings, no? Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, and Adidaivik. Adhyatmic suffering because of our own body, our own mind. We may have diseases or we may have mental stress, whatever, no? Adhyatmic. Then Adibhautik, the problems caused by natural calamities, famines, earthquakes, floods, etc. Then Adi Daivik, I'm sorry, Adi Bhautik is miseries caused by other living entities like other terrorists or other insects or mosquitoes, they are giving diseases. And Adi Daivik is diseases, miseries caused by natural calamities. That is Adi Daivik. So in the material world, we cannot escape these things. But in the spiritual world, there is no question of any of these threefold miseries, Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, Adidevik, and there is no question of birth, death, disease, and old age. There is only unlimited bliss. And not only unlimited bliss, but even that unlimited bliss is ever increasing. So in the spiritual world, we experience ever increasing unlimited bliss. Okay. It is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Krishna saved the cowherd boys from the blazing forest fire within a second while their eyes were closed. Similarly, Uddhava advised the Gopis that they could be saved from the fire of separation by closing their eyes and meditating on the activities of Krishna from the very beginning of their association with him. From the outside, the Gopis could visualize all the pastimes of Krishna by hearing the descriptions of Uddhava, and from within they could remember those pastimes. From the instructions of Uddhava, the Gopis could understand that Krishna was not separate from them. As they were constantly thinking of Krishna, Krishna was also thinking of them constantly at Mathura. See, Krishna, he is not different from his name, fame, pastimes. So if the gopis meditate on, they are doing it. But if one can meditate on Krishna's leelas, Krishna's pastimes, then one is not separated from Krishna. That is for the gopis and for every living entity. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of an iron rod. If you put the now iron rod has certain properties, right? Now if you put that iron rod in fire and that iron rod is getting heated up in the fire, Now the iron rod is going to act as a normal iron rod or is going to act like fire. Because now if you place the iron rod anywhere, it is going to burn, right? Now that iron rod is acting like fire. So this why? Because the iron rod has associated with fire. The association has made that change. In the same way, when we meditate on Krishna, then automatically we are associating with Krishna. So therefore, we will not be separated from Krishna. It's not that we are separated from Krishna in the sense that we are always connected, but we have forgotten our lost relationship with Krishna. So we can revive that by associating with his name, fame, pastimes, associating with his devotees.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
On what form can we meditate Krishna? For me, when I think about Krishna, Nitish Bharadwaj, his face is what comes in my mind. That was the first Krishna live I have seen.
Yeah, so it's good in some way you are thinking of Krishna, right? When you see Nitish Bharadwaj, you're saying Krishna in that actor. So that's okay. But maybe you need to read more Shastras and then and if you're doing any deity worship, if you have a murti, if you're worshipping a deity of Krishna, then when you think of Krishna, maybe you can think of the deity that you're worshipping every single day, or throughout the months, years. Then what happens usually with devotees is, for example, in my case, when I close my eyes and think of Krishna, immediately the deity that I'm worshipping every day, that image comes to my mind. That form of Krishna comes to my mind. So if you can engage in worshipping deity of Krishna, then slowly, slowly, maybe you can think of the deity of Krishna
Okay.
whom you're worshipping. Okay. All right. Uddhava's message and instruction saved the Gopis from immediate death, and the Gopis acknowledged the benediction from Uddhava. Uddhava practically acted as the preceptor, spiritual master of the Gopis, and in return they worshipped him as they would worship Krishna. It is recommended in the authoritative scriptures that the spiritual master be worshipped on the level of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of being his very confidential servitor. And it is accepted by great authorities that the spiritual master is the external manifestation of Krishna. The Gopis were relieved from their transcendental burning condition by realizing that Krishna was with them. Internally, they remembered his association within their hearts, and externally, Uddhava helped them associate with Krishna by his conclusive instructions. So, see here, the Shastras say that one must worship the Guru as good as God. This is the line here, no? The spiritual master be worshipped on the level of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, why? Why should we worship the Guru as good as God? Because of his being very confidential servant of Krishna. Because he is very close to Krishna, therefore, one must worship the Guru as good as God. Now, the Guru, a bona fide Guru, will never say that he is God. No, but still we worship him as good as God. And the spiritual master is the external manifestation of Krishna. Right now, Krishna is in our hearts as the super soul. The external manifestation of that super soul is the spiritual master. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the scriptures as Adhokshaja, which indicates that he is beyond the perception of all material senses. So this is one name of Krishna, Adhokshaja. He is beyond the perception of all material senses. So with material senses, we cannot perceive Krishna. We cannot understand Krishna. We have to come to the platform of bhakti to be able to understand Krishna. With material senses, it's not possible. When we spiritualize our senses, then only it is possible. Little by little, we can try to understand Krishna. Although beyond the material senses, he is present in everyone's heart. At the same time, he is present everywhere by his all pervasive feature of Brahman. One can realize all three transcendental features of the Absolute Truth: Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead; Paramatma, the localized super soul; and the all pervasive Brahman, simply by studying the condition of the gopis in their meeting with Uddhava, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, see here, the this photo shows how God can be realized in three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, which we've already discussed. So Brahman is the light that is coming from Krishna's body. Paramatma is the feature of the Lord as the super soul, and Bhagavan is Krishna as a person, This transcendentalist here, he is meditating on the Brahman effulgence. So if he attains success, he can merge into the Brahma Jyoti. This transcendentalist here, he is meditating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord. So when he attains success, he can actually see the Paramatma. And this transcendentalist here, he is meditating on the Bhagavan feature of the Lord. So when he attains success, then he is in the spiritual world and he's associating with Krishna, with God as a person, So which of the three is the best? What do you think? Where do you get
Bhagavan.
So it's
joy?
Bhagavan because you
Bhagavan.
interact with him, right?
Yes, definitely. No, this is the best realization.
Mataji,
And when one realizes the Bhagavan feature of the Lord, it automatically includes the other two realizations. So one who realizes Bhagavan automatically by default realizes Paramatma and Brahman effulgence. One who realizes only the Paramatma feature of the Lord realizes the Brahman effulgence automatically, but not the Bhagavan feature of the Lord. And one who realizes the Brahman effulgence does not realize Paramatma and Bhagavan. Yeah, Lavina, you have
Paramatma.
your hand raised.
Can you explain more about Adhokshaja? Yes.
Adhokshaja means Krishna is beyond the range of the senses, which means if I am materially thinking, no, if I try to materially analyze, how is it possible for a 7-year-old child to lift a mountain? No, so this is a
Mhm.
materialistic way of thinking. Then I will never be able to understand Krishna. But when there is some bhakti in the heart and I understand, oh, but Krishna is God, doesn't matter, he appears like a 7-year-old boy, but he is the supreme personality of Godhead. What is impossible for God, then
Mm.
then we can try to understand. So Adhokshaja means he cannot be understood by our material senses.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Aja?
Mataji, Paramatma also has form. I see here a
Yes,
form.
Paramatma also has form. Yes, the form is there, but the form is not always there with you to associate. The form appears for some time and then disappears. So
Okay,
then
so
you are hankering, you want to see it again.
it's Narayana form or
Yeah, it's in
form
the
of Narayana?
four-handed. Yes, he's in the four-handed Narayan form. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So here you have another photo. Um, to sh to explain the three ways of realizing the absolute truth with an example. So the Brahman realization is compared to the sunshine. The sunshine is pervading all the places. In the same way, the Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman effulgence pervades all the material and the spiritual worlds. So, say a Brahman, sunshine, all pervading impersonal features realization. Preliminary, it's a preliminary understanding of the absolute truth. Like simply understanding the sunshine, universal pervasiveness and glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature. Then Paramatma realization is compared to the surface of the sun, the localized feature realization, advanced. So this is more advanced than the Brahman realization. Like knowing that the sun is disk-like, which is compared to knowledge of Paramatma feature. Then Bhagavan realization is perfection. It's the perfect realization. It is compared to like entering into the heart of the sun planet, inner affairs, realize personal feature of the supreme absolute truth. So this is how you have sunshine, the sun disk, and then the sun itself, the sun planet itself. In the same way, you can compare Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan realization. Now, if somebody says that I believe in the sunshine, but I don't believe in the sun, hmm, that is absurd. No, you will say this person is crazy because the source of that sunshine is the sun, correct? So if there is sunshine, automatically we know that the sun exists. Sometimes on a cloudy day, we may not be able to see the sun because the sun is covered by the clouds. But we can know that the sun is present because there is sunshine. So in the same way, if somebody says that I believe in the Brahma Jyoti, but I do not believe in Krishna, It is absurd because that Brahma Jyoti is coming from the body of Krishna. Krishna is the source of that Brahma Jyoti. Okay. It is said by Srinivas Acharya that the six Goswamis were always merged in thoughts of the activities of the Gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also recommended the Gopis method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead as super excellent. Srila Sukadeva Goswami has also recommended that anyone who hears from the right source about the dealings of the Gopis with Krishna and who knows and who follows the instructions laid down by the previous acharyas will be elevated to the topmost position of devotional service and be able to give up the lust of material enjoyment. See, this is very, very important. We should hear from the right source. We should always hear from a devotee. We should not hear from professional reciters or somebody who's bogus or fake. We have to always hear from the right source. Because when you hear from the right source, then that information can transform. If you hear the same message but from a non bona fide person, then it may give you information, but it will not lead to a transformation. All the gopis were solaced by the instructions of Uddhava and they requested him to stay in Vrindavan for a few days more. Uddhava agreed to their proposal and stayed with them not only for a few days but for a few months. He always kept them engaged in thinking of the transcendental message of Krishna and his pastimes, and the gopis felt as if they were experiencing direct association with Krishna. While Uddhava remained in Vrindavan, the inhabitants enjoyed his association. As they discussed the activities of Krishna, the days passed just like moments. Vrindavan's natural atmosphere with the presence of the river Yamuna, its nice orchards of trees decorated with various fruits, Govardhan Hill, caves, blooming flowers, all combined to inspire Uddhava to narrate Krishna's pastimes. The inhabitants enjoyed Uddhava's association in the same way that they enjoyed the association of Krishna. Uddhava was attracted by the attitude of the gopis because they were completely attached to Krishna, and he was inspired by the gopis' anxiety for Krishna. He offered them his respectful obeisances and composed songs in praise of their transcendental qualities as follows. Among all the living entities who have accepted the human form of life, the gopis are super excellently successful in their mission. Their thought is eternally absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna. Great sages and we ourselves also tried to be absorbed in meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna. But the gopis, having lovingly accepted the Lord, are automatically accustomed to this and do not depend on any yogic practice. The conclusion is that one who has attained the gopis' condition of life does not have to take birth as Lord Brahma or be born in a Brahmana family or be initiated as a Brahmana. So Uddhava now sees the topmost position of the gopis and he is also composing verses to glorify their spontaneous love for Krishna. Sri Uddhava confirmed that Lord Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita that one who takes shelter of him for the right purpose, be that person a Shudra, a woman, or a member of a low grade family, will attain the highest goal of life. The gopis have set the standard of devotion for the whole world. One who follows in the footsteps of the gopis by constantly thinking of Krishna can attain the highest perfectional stage of spiritual life. The gopis were not born, the gopis were born not of any highly cultured family, but of cowherd men. Yet they developed the highest love of Krishna, who is Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Brahman. For self realization or God realization, there is no need to take birth in a high family. The only thing needed is development of ecstatic love of God. For achieving perfection in Krishna consciousness, no qualification is required other than to be constantly engaged in the loving service of Krishna, the supreme nectar, the reservoir of all pleasure. The effect of taking up Krishna consciousness is just like that of drinking nectar. With or without one's knowledge, it will act. The active principle of Krishna consciousness will equally manifest itself everywhere. It does not matter how and where one has taken his birth. Krishna will bestow his benediction upon anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness without any doubt. Hmm. So, is there anything controversial in this text that we have read?
I think taking birth in the Brahmin family will only lead to the devotion, maybe.
Where does it say that? Which line?
Like, like for self-realization or God realization, there is no need to take birth in the high family.
That is controversial?
I think it is the Gopis were born not of any highly cultured family, but of the cowherd men.
That is
I think
controversial?
Gopis were a woman, and here also it says that, be that person, a Shudra, a woman, or a man, but attain the highest goal of.
Ah, you spotted it. So this is actually a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which is considered to be a controversial verse. Especially the feminists would raise a lot of objections to this verse, right, from the Bhagavad Gita. Let's see. This is the verse where Krishna is telling Arjuna, O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras can attain the supreme destination. No, so because here the Krishna says those, see here, if you see the Sanskrit, Papa Yonaha. Papa Yonaha means born of a lower family. And who are these Papa Yonaha, born of a lower family? Krishna says Striyo, Vaishya, Tatha, Shudra. So the Striya, women, Vaishyas, the merchants, and the Shudras, the workers. So this is a line that is something that really disturbs the materialists or the feminists. But we have to understand, when we understand from the acharyas, then we can see that actually this verse is not discriminating against women, okay? But this verse is actually removing all discriminations, because what Krishna is saying here is that anyone, doesn't matter, you may be a woman, you may be a merchant, or you may be a Shudra, doesn't matter, anyone can attain perfection. No, anyone can attain the supreme destination. So this verse actually removes all discrimination. This verse is not discriminating against women or Shudras or the Vaishyas. Now, why are women called as Papa Yonaha or a lower birth? That can be a question. So, what do you think is the answer?
Maybe the emotional intelligence of a woman is
Okay,
low.
women are more emotionally inclined compared to men, right? Women and men are physically different, also psychologically and physiologically different. So, women are more emotionally inclined and men are more practical. Okay, what else? If one wants to attain perfection, which body is a better body? A woman's body or a man's body? Because soul is not male or female, right? Soul is just the soul. Hmm? What's that? Which body is better to realize God? Man's body or woman's body?
A woman's body.
Why?
Because the emotions and all are more they show the emotions more than a man.
Okay, so
We understand things better.
huh?
We understand things better.
Understand things better?
How does
Bhakti is
it
more of
matter,
an
if we have.
Women are more inclined to take up devotional service than
Women
men.
are more inclined to take up devotional service. Anybody else
no,
wants
when
to say anything? What's that, Priyanka?
when there is an emotion involved, then one can climb the ladder of bhakti faster.
Okay. So when we say women in general are more emotionally inclined, we are not talking about emotions for Krishna. That is a different thing. In general, women are more emotionally inclined. But if that is in
So it's
bhakti, then it's, yes, of course, it's an advantage. But we are saying in general, women are more emotionally inclined. So that is good for bhakti. That can also mean
so
more
since
attachment to family, right?
line, they won't be able to detach themselves from the family or family life or any friends or family life. But versus men, they are not that emotionally inclined or emotionally attached to their family, so they can take up the devotional service faster.
So you are
So
saying a man's body is better for bhakti compared to a woman's body.
that doesn't matter.
Okay, anybody else wants to give their inputs?
It's Bhagwan's mercy, whether man or woman.
Yeah, that everything is, of course, bottom line is Krishna's mercy. But discussion is which body is better for bhakti, man's body or a woman's body? See, okay, let me say this. Who who takes more time to dress up in general, women or men?
Woman.
For whom the externals matter more? I should look beautiful, my clothes should be good, I need good jewelry.
Women,
It matters whom?
women,
Yeah,
Woman.
women, right? A diamond is a woman's best friend or a man's best friend?
women's,
Woman.
Women's best friend, right? Who is more prone to sense gratification, therefore, men
women,
or women?
women,
Woman.
Women, no? So actually, Shastras explain that a woman's body is more prone to sense gratification as compared to men. Men can quickly detach themselves, as Shreya said, as compared to women, because women are more emotionally inclined. Now, that doesn't mean that women cannot attain perfection. Women, of course, can attain perfection because ultimately, bhakti is for everyone. No man or woman, rich or poor, Indian or American, it does not matter. Bhakti is for everyone, and that's what Krishna is saying here. No, he's opening the doors. He's saying that anyone can attain the supreme destination. So, compared to a man's body, a woman's body is considered a little less perfect for attaining perfection. As also Vaishyas and Shudras, because they are not so much spiritually inclined compared to Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas. Okay, so this is one verse that is very controversial, but you see Prabhupada how he has translated this verse as it is. That is why Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is titled Bhagavad Gita as it is. Just because it is controversial, Srila Prabhupada does not change or twist the meaning of what Krishna has said. He gives you the meaning as it is. No, if you actually there is no need why you should waste your time doing it, but just out of curiosity, sometimes when you see translations of non-bona fide persons, if you really want to know if the Bhagavad Gita is bona fide, you go and see the translation of this verse and you will see how others have twisted the meaning and given the translation differently because they want to stay away from controversy. But Srila Prabhupada has translated this as it is. Papa Yonaha, Krishna says, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras, women, Vaishyas and Shudras. So he has given the translation as it is. And this is the reason why Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has made most devotees all over the world. Millions and millions of devotees all over the world has been made because Srila Prabhupada never watered down the philosophy to please anyone. He presented the message as it is. So anyway, the coming back to our point here. So we may all have different starting points in life, but the process of bhakti is so powerful, so potent, so fast that once we start off, the starting points do not matter. It does not matter whether you're in a man's body or a woman's body. It does not matter. Once you take to the bhakti process, then the starting point does not matter. That's the potency of bhakti. Yeah, Shreya, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Mataji, about Vaishyas, I mean, they always try to serve the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, right? So, and even the Shudras. So, why they are also considered as a lower born?
Because they are not so spiritually inclined compared to Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Brahmanas, they are very much spiritually inclined. Kshatriyas also are spiritually inclined. And in fact, they should be spiritually inclined because they have to rule. So they should know the Shastras, and to do justice in the kingdom, they should know what Shastras says, right? So Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are most um, inclined spiritually. Vaishyas a little less than the Kshatriyas, and Shudras, they never go to the Gurukul also. They are not interested in learning Shastras. They never go also to a Gurukul. That's why they are at the bottom list of the Varnashram system. But again, one may be born in a Shudra family, but if he performs bhakti, then he can be elevated to the highest position of being a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, even higher than a Brahmana. Again, starting point does not matter. But in general, Shudras, they are not so spiritually inclined.
So were they allowed to go to Gurukul?
It's not that they are not allowed to, it's just that they don't want to.
Hmm.
Okay.
But I'm sure like there would be like Shudras and Vaishyas in that time, right? Where they might be spiritually inclined, some of them, and they want to go to Gurukul, but because it was just meant for like Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they were not allowed to go or something.
No, then you have to give me a specific example.
No, I mean in general, in Krishna's time, probably,
No,
maybe.
because see, no, it's not like that. Whatever examples we have from our shastras of students who were refused by their gurus, for example, Dronacharya did not want to give education to Karna, right? Also
Karna.
Ekalavya, yes, but there is a reason for it. It was not because Ekalavya belonged to a particular tribe, therefore Dronacharya refused him. No, it's the point is Dronacharya was employed by the king. No, he's employed by Hastinapur as the teacher for the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And this particular tribe to which Ekalavya belonged, that tribe was an enemy tribe of the king. They were always engaging in, you can call it modern day times. In modern day times, you can compare it to anti-terror, I mean terrorist activities. Terrorist activities, no. So they were against the government. So this particular tribe, they were engaged in activities that were disturbing the peaceful reign of the king. Therefore, Dronacharya did not want to teach Ekalavya because he will use his skill against the king, against the kingdom, not because Ekalavya belonged to a particular tribe. And again, he refused to teach Karna.
Karna.
Karna, because again, he was employed by Hastinapur to teach the Kauravas and the Pandavas in their kingdom. So therefore, there is no place for an outsider. It's like you have employed a in your house, you have employed a tuition teacher for your child. Can another child come and study in your house? No, no, that's not possible. So therefore, Dronacharya did not teach Karna. So if you see specific examples, there are reasons for it. No, nobody was refused just because he's Shudra. I don't think we have that example in our Shastras.
But I mean, he could have, if Karna was really a good, archer, he could have like trained him outside too. Like, why
No, but
was
he's no. The point is he's employed and he's committed and he's already teaching the 100 Kaurava brothers and the 5 Pandava brothers. And his son was an exception because he's his own son and he's living with the father. So that was an exception. But there was no other outsider involved. Not even any other Kshatriya was not there in the Gurukul, right? No other Kshatriya or no other Brahman also was in that Gurukul. Aja, you have your hand raised?
Yes, Mataji. Is Krishna the one who created this Varnashram?
Yes, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he has
What is the
created this
purpose?
Varnashram society based on guna and karma, based on nature and the work that one does.
Yeah, so what's the purpose? Just to, then that will identify you like that, right?
What's the purpose of this Varnashram society is, see, everyone has a particular nature, right? Now, Brahmanas have a certain nature. They are more peaceful. They like to study. Kshatriyas have a different nature. They are more courageous. They want to go and fight wars, correct? So everyone has a different nature. And one should do the work according to the nature that they have. Now, if you tell a Brahmana to go and fight a war that's against his nature, he's not going to be happy. If you tell a Kshatriya who loves passion, no, Kshatriyas are in the mode of passion. They are all passionate, and you tell him to you sit in one room, practice meditation, and sit and just study. that Kshatriya is not going to be happy, and he will not be able to do it also because it's not in his nature. In the same way, men and women, we have different natures, and the work assigned, the duties assigned to a woman and the duties assigned to a man are according to the natures that women and men have. Because women are more emotionally inclined, therefore, the duty of a woman is to take care of her family, take care of the children, cook, and take care of the house nicely. No, because her nature, because of her nature. And a man is has a different nature. He's the one who can go out and face the big bad world because he is more practical. No, it's easier for one to manipulate a woman than to manipulate a man. Again, because the woman by nature is emotionally inclined. No, we have different natures. So anyway, coming back to Varnashram system, everybody has a certain nature, and the work assigned to them is according to their nature. So when we work according to our nature, then the society will be peaceful. The society will be peaceful, and everybody's needs will be met. So because we need teachers in the society, we have brahmanas. Because we need people to protect us from anybody who's attacking us, therefore we need kshatriyas. In the modern day times, we have our army, navy, and air force. No, they are the kshatriyas of the modern times. So we need kshatriyas as well. So one who has that nature can enroll in the army, navy, and air force. No? And then we also need merchants because goods have to be moving in the society. We need to get our requirements. We need to purchase our stuff. So they are the merchants of the society. And then shudras, they are the workers of the society. We need to get our work done, right? If we have a problem with our machines, or we need a plumber, or we need a carpenter, we need a painter. They are the workers of the society. So one works according to the nature, and then the needs of all of us are automatically met in a perfect Varnashram society. Therefore, everybody should be equally respected. Not that we call a Shudra and we can insult a Shudra. No, because we need the Shudra and the Vaishya and the Kshatriya and the Brahmana in a smooth society. We cannot do without them. We cannot do without the Shudras in the society. We need them. So therefore, everybody should be respected. But the only a point here is that the Brahmanas are most inclined spiritually, and the Shudras are least inclined spiritually. So therefore, now they are on the top of this. The Brahmanas are on top of the Varnashram system, and the Shudras are at the bottom of the Varnashram system, only because of inclination to spirituality. But if a Shudra actually elevates himself and he is taken to spirituality, then he will be respected, very, very highly respected, like a Brahmana. For example, Vidura. Vidura was born from the womb of a maid servant, but he was very highly respected in the kingdom. Even the king, Dhritarashtra, would take his advice. Pandavas also, they would take his advice. Why? Because he elevated himself to the highest position.
Yes, yes.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So here are some examples of how starting points does not matter. Now, this here story of Gajendra, he is in the body of an elephant. He does not even have a human body, right? It's an animal body. But he surrendered to Lord Vishnu when he was caught in that situation where he was being bitten in the leg by a crocodile. He remembered the Lord because in the previous life he was a devotee. So he remembered prayers, and he offered prayers to the Lord. And then as soon as Lord Vishnu appeared in his carrier Garuda, immediately Gajendra offered a lotus. No, so that is devotional service, that is bhakti. He is offering out of love a flower to the Lord. Here this again animal body. No, what's his name from the Ramayana?
Katai.
Jatayu. Yes, Jatayu, thank you. So Jatayu, he gave up his life practically trying to prevent Ravan to kidnap Mother Sita. So Lord Ram, he performed the last rites for him personally, just as how a son would do for his father. Now, so here Jatayu also was in the body of an animal, but still he attained perfection because he engaged in bhakti. Here she is an ordinary fruit seller, but because she gave the fruits to Krishna without expecting anything in return, no, out of love, she also attained perfection. Here, what is it that did it? This is the story of when Rukmini and Satyabhama. No, so Satyabhama, there was this trick that Narada Muni played, no? And because of Narada Muni's advice, then Satyabhama said that, okay, we will weigh Krishna on this balance. And then she brought a lot of jewelry and she brought all that she had. Still, the balance would not uh, tilt on the other side. So finally, what Rukmini did, she just put one tulsi leaf, and with that one tulsi leaf, then the balance, this what do you call it? The tula, it moved, no, because of just the weight of one tulsi leaf. So this is again bhakti, the power of bhakti. Here, which pastime is this?
Vidurani peeling, giving the
Yes,
banana instead of
yes, yes. When
Somebody,
Krishna went as a peace messenger to Hastinapur, actually, even Duryodhan invited Krishna to his house for a royal feast. So that time, Krishna and Vidura also had invited Krishna. So Krishna rejected Duryodhan's proposal and he accepted Vidura's invitation, right? And he told Duryodhan, one will eat in another's house only under two conditions. One is either one is hungry, and two is out of love and affection. So Krishna said, I am not hungry, and we don't have any love and affection because you are an enemy of my devotees, Pandavas, who are very dear to me. So therefore, Krishna did not accept the royal feast, and he came to Vidura's house. And in Vidura's house, Vidura's wife, she was so enchanted by Krishna that she was peeling the banana and she was giving the banana peel to Krishna, and she was throwing the pulp, the fruit. And Krishna was eating that peel very, very happily until Vidura came and he said, hey, what are you doing? And then he was giving the fruit to Krishna. And then Krishna told Vidura that actually the peel was sweeter than the fruit. So it's the love that Krishna sees, love, bhakti. And this,
somebody,
Sabri.
yeah, Shabri. She's in the body of a woman, also not a high class birth. She belonged to the Shudra tribe, but still, Lord Ram ate the half-eaten berries, not even full berries, half. So she is chewed on the berries. She has given her juta, as we say in Hindi. No, she's given her half-eaten berries to Lord Ram. So what the Lord sees is the love and affection. Yeah, Shreya.
Yeah, I just wanted to share. When I recently visited to India, I went to Dwarka, and you can still actually do the tuladan there. You can weigh yourself, and then the brahmana, whoever is performing that puja, you can actually donate like wheat and milk and sugar and whatever you want to. So equal to your weight, and they put the tulsi leaf as well, just to remember this.
Wow, so nice. So this is in Mathura.
No, Dwarka.
Yeah, in Dwarka. Okay. Thank you.
Mm. But it's really nice. Like they have, and many people do that. They have that tuladan there, that tula there. So,
Okay. Nice. If you have photos of that temple, you can share in the group.
yeah, they don't allow.
Oh, they don't allow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I might have the outside pictures, but I'll share if I have it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's see a short video by Srila Prabhupada based on the subject matter that we are discussing.
There is a Banshidas Babaji Maharaj. He was talking with his deity. Krishna, just like Madan Mohan. He was talking with Sanatana Goswami. Madan Mohan, Sanatana Goswami at that time had no temple. He was hanging his deity on the tree. So Madan Mohan was talking with him, Sanatana, you are bringing all these dry chapatis and it is stale and you don't give me even little salt. How can I eat? Sanatana Goswami says, sir, where shall I go? Whatever I get, I offer you. You kindly accept. I cannot move, old man. So Krishna had to eat that. Because the bhakta is offering, he cannot refuse. Jimang bhaktya prajach. Real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? It is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten, fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be perturbed. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you very much.
Krishna Kirtana Banana Tanapano Premamritam Manidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmasanau Pujitau Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhubi Bhuva Bharavahantarakam Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujagam Sri Jiva Gopalakam.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai, jai.
Okay, coming back
Mataji,
to
will you
Krishna
also
book.
share clip in the group? That very nice Prabhupada clip just now played, very beautiful clip. Will you also share that in?
Yes, it'll be there in your recording when I upload it. Okay, Uddhava continued. The supreme benediction attained by the Gopis, in spite of their being born in the families of cowherd men, was never attained even by the goddess of fortune herself, and certainly not by the denizens of heaven, though the bodily scent of the women there is exactly like the scent of the lotus. The Gopis are so fortunate that during the Rasa Leela, Krishna personally embraced them with his arms and kissed them face to face. Certainly, it is not possible for any woman in the three worlds to achieve this except the Gopis. Therefore, I wish to take birth as one of the plants or creepers in Vrindavan who are so fortunate that the Gopis trample them. The Gopis so lovingly serve Krishna, Mukunda himself, the giver of liberation, who was searched after by great sages and saintly persons. For his sake, they left everything, their families, their children, their friends, their homes, and all worldly connections. Uddhava appreciated the exalted position of the Gopis and wished to fall down and take the dust of their feet on his head. Yet he dared not to ask the Gopis to offer the dust from their feet. Perhaps they would not be agreeable. Therefore, to have his head smeared with the dust of the Gopis' feet without their knowledge, he desired to become only an insignificant clump of grass or herbs in the land of Vrindavan. So what is it that Uddhava wants to, what is his desire?
A clump of grass in Vrindavan.
He wants to
He
become
wants
a
the
clump
dust.
of grass in Vrindavan. Why?
He wants the dust of the Gopis' feet.
So why does he want to become a clump of grass in Vrindavan?
So he can get the dust of the Gopis' feet.
So that he can get the dust of the Gopis' feet. The Gopis are walking on the grass in Vrindavan, and by that, so if he's grass, then he can get the dust of their feet. So this is the desire of Uddhava.
Mataji, do we know how many number of gopis? No, we don't have that.
There is no number as such, but there are several. And Balaram has his own set of gopis and Krishna has his own set of gopis. But there is no number as such.
Okay.
The gopis were so much attracted to Krishna that when they heard the vibration of his flute, they instantly left their homes, families, children, honor, and feminine bashfulness and ran toward the place where Krishna was standing. They did not consider whether they were passing over the road or through the jungles. Imperceptibly, the dust of their feet was bestowed on small grasses and herbs of Vrindavan. Not daring to place the dust of the Gopis' feet on his own head in this life, Uddhava aspired to have a future birth in Vrindavan in the position of a clump of grass or herbs. He would then be able to have the dust of the Gopis' feet. So Uddhava is praying that, okay, in the future lifetime, I want to be born as the clump of grass in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Uddhava appreciated the extraordinary fortune of the gopis who were relieved of all material pangs and anxieties by placing on their beautiful high breasts the lotus feet of Krishna, which are worshipped not only by the goddesses of fortune but by such exalted demigods as Brahma and Lord Shiva, and which great yogis meditate upon within their hearts. Thus, Uddhava prayed to be constantly honored by the dust from the lotus feet of the gopis, whose chanting of Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes has become celebrated all over the three worlds. After living in Vrindavan for some time, Uddhava desired to go back to Krishna, and he begged permission to leave from Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. He had a farewell meeting with the gopis, and taking permission from them also, he mounted his chariot to start for Mathura. So actually, Uddhava stayed in Vrindavan for 10 months. After 10 months, he wanted to go back because Krishna was personally present in Mathura. So he wants to go back to Mathura. When Uddhava was about to leave, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, headed by Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda, came to bid him goodbye and presented him with various kinds of valuable goods secured in Vrindavan. They expressed their feelings with tears in their eyes due to intense attachment for Krishna. All of them desired a benediction from Uddhava. They desired to always remember the glorious activities of Krishna and wanted their minds to be always fixed upon his lotus feet, their words to be always engaged in glorifying him, and their bodies to be always engaged in bowing down as they constantly remembered him. This prayer of the inhabitants of Vrindavan is the super excellent type of self realization. The method is very simple: to fix the mind always on the lotus feet of Krishna, to always talk of Krishna without passing on to any other subject matter, and to engage the body in Krishna's service constantly. Especially in this human form of life, one should engage his life, resources, words, and intelligence for the service of the Lord. Only such activities can elevate a human being to the highest level of perfection. This is the verdict of all authorities. The inhabitants of Vrindavan said, by the will of the Supreme Authority and according to the results of our work, we may take our birth anywhere. It doesn't matter where we are born, but our only prayer is that we may simply be engaged in Krishna consciousness. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna never desires to be promoted to the heavenly planets or even to Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan because he has no desire for his own personal satisfaction. A pure devotee regards heaven and hell to be on an equal level. Without Krishna, heaven is hell, and with Krishna, hell is heaven. When Uddhava had been fully honored and worshipped by the pure devotees of Vrindavan, he returned to Mathura and to his master, Krishna. After offering respects by bowing down before Lord Krishna and Balaram, he described the wonderful devotional life of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Thus he presented to Vasudev, Krishna's father, and Ugrasena, Krishna's grandfather, all the gifts given by the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 47th chapter of Krishna, delivery of the message of Krishna to the Gopis. Now, let's see a little bit about Uddhava. So, Krishna told Uddhava previously, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Krishna speaking to Uddhava. O Vasu, I know from within your mind what you desired in the days of yore, and when the Vasus and other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desire to achieve my association. This is very difficult to obtain for others, but I award it unto you. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, Uddhava is one of the eternal associates of the Lord, and a plenary portion of Uddhava was one of the 8 Vasus in the days of yore. So Uddhava previously was one of the 8 Vasus, one of the demigods. The 8 Vasus and the demigods in the upper planetary system, who are responsible for the management of the universal affairs, performed a sacrifice in the days of yore, desiring to fulfill their respective ultimate goals in life. At that time, an expansion of Uddhava, acting as one of the Vasus, desired to become an associate of the Lord. The Lord knew this because he is present in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma, the super consciousness. In the days of yore, when the demigods and Vasus performed sacrifice, Uddhava, as one of the Vasus, desired to enter into the association of the Lord, which is very difficult for those busy in empiric philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. Such persons have practically no information of the facts about becoming an associate of the Lord. Only the pure devotees can know, by the mercy of the Lord, that the personal association of the Lord is the highest perfection of life. The Lord assured Uddhava that he would fulfill his desire. So, this is the reason why Krishna chose Uddhava to go to Vrindavan with Krishna's message. No? So Uddhava, who was more inclined towards Jnana Yoga, he got his first lesson on Bhakti Yoga from the Gopis. And this was Uddhava's desire when he was a Vasu to have the personal association of the Lord. So Krishna fulfills the desires of his sincere devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Vasus are in charge of what? The affairs in the earth?
Management of universal affairs.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
you're welcome. So there is a place in Nandagaon called Uddhava Kyari. This Uddhava Kyari is the place where this whole conversation happened between Uddhava and the Gopis, or the place where the Brahmara Gita was spoken. No? So this is one place where you can visit. This is the deity of Uddhava at Uddhava Kyari. And now there is another place called Uddhava Kund. And it is in this Uddhava Kund that Uddhava is residing as grass in Vrindavan. And if one performs heartfelt kirtan, then Uddhava can also manifest and give you his darshan. See, this board is there. The local people also will tell you. And this board is there outside this place called Uddhava Kunda. I'm not able to read the whole thing because it's kind of not so clear because of this other net over here. But let's see what we can read. No, in Hindi, इस स्थल के बारे में यहाँ पर श्री उद्धव जी महाराज आज भी लता आई गेस इट्स लतापति रूप में विराजमान है सुस्व समथिंग संगीतमय संकीर्तन प्रेम से करने पर वे आज भी प्रकट हो के दर्शन दे सकते हैं श्री सुखदेव जी महाराज से पहले यहाँ भगवान कथा हुई थी जिसे श्री उद्धव जी महाराज ने सुनाई थी तथा वज्रनाभ के साथ सभी श्री कृष्ण पत्नियों ने then I cannot read. I don't know what it says here. But anyway, for those who cannot understand Hindi, it is said, it explains here, this board outside the temple says that Uddhava is residing in this place as a grass and he can manifest himself when one does heartfelt kirtan. And before Sukadeva Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually Uddhava spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam here. Because of Vajranab, no, to Vajranab and all the queens of Krishna. So the queens of Dwarka, the wives of Krishna, along with Vajranab, Krishna's grandson, they had come to this spot and they had done kirtan, and therefore then Uddhava manifested from the grass and he spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to the queens of Krishna. So there is a link here. You can watch this video on YouTube to know more about this place. You can see this place here in this video. When I share the slides, you can see this link. Okay, and this is the Uddhava temple there in this place. And here you can see Uddhava in the center. This is the deity of Uddhava. He is holding the Srimad Bhagavatam in his hand, because he recited the Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore you can see the deity of Uddhava here with the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is supposed to be the deity, I think so, because the information said that this temple has a deity of Vajranab. And also you have the deities of Krishna's wife and Yamuna Devi here. And here you can also see there is a photo of Srila Prabhupada in that altar. So this is one place that you want to visit when you go to Vrindavan. It's in a place called Kusum Sarovar at the Govardhan area. And see, there is this board there in that place in Hindi also. The information is there and also in English. I'll read in English because everyone here understands English. After the departure of Sri Krishna from this world, his queens went to Mathura with their grandson Vajranab. Feeling intense separation from their beloved Lord, they took shelter of Kalindi, who advised them to go to Kusum Sarovar to meet Sri Uddhava. Maharaj Parikshit agreed, so they all came here to Kusum Sarovar and began to sing Kirtan and Bhajan about Sri Radha Krishna's Leela. Pleased by their devotion, Sri Uddhava gave them his darshan. First, he spoke about the importance of hearing or reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, saying that at the present time Sri Krishna and his Leela are unmanifested, but by the influence of Srimad Bhagavatam or chanting Sri Krishna's names, he will appear in one's heart along his Leela. Then he sent Maharaj Parikshit to complete his duties and told him not to worry, that later on he would meet Sukadeva, who would recite the Srimad Bhagavatam for him. Then he began his narration of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will go on for 1 month. After a few days of relishing the topics of Sri Krishna's Leela by Sri Uddhava's mercy, the queens first were able to perceive those Leelas and then enter those Leelas, becoming part of Sri Krishna's entourage. Being cured of the disease of separation from their beloved, they entered their supreme destination. After this event, Sri Vrajanab installed 3 murtis of Sri Uddhava, one in Kusum Sarovar, one in Dwarka, and one in Badrika Ashram. This story is taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya in Skanda Purana. So this is the story behind this ancient Sri Uddhava temple. On that note, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we come to the end of today's presentation. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai